we're going to do a little real world stuff here, okay? It's not that easy, obviously. You all out there probably know that. Kevin and I have been working together almost 18 years now. So Fluor, if you don't know what Fluor is, it's not a flower company, okay? We're one of the world's largest engineering construction companies. We build amazing things, and I am going to show you a quick video, and then we'll talk about how use of cognitive, AI, all those kinds of things can even apply in my industry. So we like to say we build really cool stuff, okay? Every movement you see there, every cable, every piece of steel, everything, that's all part of the project, okay? Millions and millions of bytes of data all the time. Part of the problem in our business, though, it's a global market that didn't take on the challenges until late, okay? And the reason we are right now, to be perfectly honest with you, is our customers are demanding it, right? So we do engineering, construction, in oil, gas, chemicals, pharmaceutical. In the government, we're the largest employer in Afghanistan. We run most of the nuclear sites in the world, and we build bridges, roads, and everything else. So these mega projects have gotten so big now. So to give you an example what a mega project is, so our average project is $500 million. A mega project is 10 to 14 billion. Okay? And it's, as you could see there, it's like building cities, right? And so there's so much going on. Thousands and thousands of people, hundreds of thousands. I have man camps all over the world with hundreds of thousands of people in them. And so anything goes wrong and it impacts the project, whether it's supply chain, whether it's the engineering time, whatever. And then on top of that, to complicate matters even more, is we have joint venture partners. So we have, people like JGC and all over the world, we got all these. So that one bridge there, we had 5 joint venture partners, okay? So here's the key. The key is now, you see up there contracts, is the new currency is data. And guess what? Nobody wants to share data. So our customer thinks they own the data. I think I own the data. My joint ventures think they own the data. And at the end of the day, the question was, how are we going to bring all that data together, and what are we going to do with it? And so I'm going to take you through kind of the steps we took to go through that. Client demands besides safety, and we are the safest employer in the world. Okay, safety is everything to us. They wanted capital efficiency. And to tell you how serious they were, you saw those mining projects that we run most of those mines. About 4 years ago, every CEO and every CFO of all the major mining companies got fired. All of them. Wasn't one left standing. Why? Their shareholders said, you're not providing us with capital efficiency. Which then they turned around to people like us and said, that's your fault. So that's another reason that drove us down this path with all the data. And of course, schedule certainty. The challenge, and I'm going to show you a chart here, is nobody in my industry, in the EPC industry, wanted to invest money in information technology. Nobody. And I'll show you a graph that shows that. We got lagging productivity. We have all sorts of problems on data consistency. I've got more data than I know what to do with. The problem is 90% of the data is unstructured. So I don't know if you're all living through that, but to go to some of these models, you can't go with unstructured data. You have to figure out how to structure your data. Here's the other interesting fact, culture. Average age of the employee in my business, 58. Average age of the senior project director, 65. Okay? Average age of the mega projects, the 14 to 18 billion, 72. They still think I'm 60, they think I'm a snot-nosed kid. Okay? I hear that all the time, all right? So we got a lot of things we're dealing with, but there is a way to overcome it. As Kevin said, if you dream big. Just to show you the investment. That was 2014. Look at the construction industry. Look at the industry that I make most of my money in, chemicals and energy. It's pathetic. That was 2014. Only in the last 3 years has everybody picked up the pace. That's our past. By the way, that past was as little as 24 months ago. So you can do this quick, but you have to be totally focused, and you really have to believe you're going out of business. Today, we put together Unison, which is a set of data standards, work processes, automated tools, data governance, analytics. All those steps are needed. But think about this, right? They're multi-billion-dollar projects with thousands of people. In the construction industry, they didn't even know how to use iPads up until 24 months ago. They said they cost too much. All right? So these are questions that I'm sure others in the room deal with, but we're in a really old industry here. And the question was, my CEO said, you will never change this culture. And I'm here to tell you can change the culture. The digital transformation landscape, we had to treat data like it was money. So every piece of data became like a currency. And that's how we treated it. And so we put these teams together, and when you start talking data as money, they start listening. When you start telling them their bonuses are tied to the data, they listen. Okay? They listen a lot. When you tell them we can't win a project without the right data structure and without agreements in the contracts of who owns that data, we're not going to do the project. This is an industry that bases itself on man hours. The more man hours, the better you are. It also makes me public enemy number one, right? Because I say I don't need all these people. I can get a lot of this from AI. I just need to get it automated, and we need to have the data standards in place. So we went and partnered. Besides Kevin, we do partner with other people. We went and partnered with IBM. I admit I'm an ex-IBMer. I was there 21 years before my 18 years at Fluor. The difference was I went and cut a deal with the lab directly. I went to the research lab and said, you know, I want to go big here. So when we looked around, we said, what's totally different than what we do? The medical industry, right? You just heard people talking about medical on the thing. The one thing they've been working on for years, maybe longer than anybody else, is the use of data. And what they did is they laid out this whole technology scheme for cancer. And my thing was, if Watson can help them figure out how to cure cancer, we at least should be able to figure out how to run projects better. And so we took that dream, that vision, okay, and we started to apply all our engineering, construction, management capabilities, supply chain, logistics, to this kind of concept and premise. Analysis across multiple projects, performance insights. Project health and monitoring, and final outcome predictions. Project outcome simulations and scenarios, project baselines and assessments. What we developed was, over a period of 4 to 5 years, was hundreds of projects that we had done in the past, and we laid them out. We figured out how to standardize that data. We ran that through a set of software to do standardization of the data, and then we began to load it into Watson. We built our own application on that. It's powered by Watson, called ePHD, and we were off and running. A lot of dynamic work here. I was lucky because my board and my CEO did not ask me for an ROI. They just said, this makes sense, so why don't you go do it? Okay, I'll talk about how quickly we realized the ROI. But this is dramatic stuff in our industry, right? Very dramatic stuff. And now the thing is, what if we could run projects, proposals through, compare it to other projects we've already run, and have Watson tell us what's good, what's bad, and what do we need to change? And what if we could show the customer that? So we went through a lot of battling with what you can show your customer and what you can't show your customer. For some reason, when you live in the engineering world, everybody thinks their customers are stupid, which really makes our customers mad, right? Really what they want is, and you heard Kevin talk about it, what they want is a new set of rules. They want to work together differently now. Right? They want to share data. They want capital efficiency. The only way they're going to get it is working with us for that. And so we've worked really hard. An average proposal for us costs $6 million. No guarantee we're going to win the project. No way to get that money back. Our average hit rate on a project, 42%. That's a lot of project proposal money that goes right down the drain. Today, we are automating that and reducing that cost down dramatically. We were able to build health diagnostics dashboards real time. We collect data from the project. We standardized all the project, and we put these capabilities together. And whatever button you click on brings you to the Watson database, and it allows you to run different scenarios. Okay. Now here's the big thing. We gave access to our CEO. And so that is like unbelievably unheard of in our industry, right? Projects don't want anybody to know what they're doing until it's too late and they've already lost the money. And if you can imagine, right, I'm dealing with a 72-year-old. Not that there's anything wrong with that, okay? But he's saying, you know, who the hell are you talking to, you snot-nose? You know, get away from me, right? But we made it work. Today, every project that Fluor signs on in oil, gas, chemicals, mining, and now pharmaceutical gets loaded into into PhD. It has different kinds of summaries. So the capabilities you have, and I know there are other analytic tools, and everybody can probably do this, is once you have that data, once you've standardized, it'll put summaries together for you on an hourly basis. So if I click on that and I want to know what's going on Project X, it'll give me a summary of everything that's going on. That's my neural network. Don't ask me how it works. I can't explain it. All right? I will tell you the new career, hottest new career in Fluor Corporation is to be a data scientist. 3 years ago, it was to be an engineer. Today, everybody wants to be a data scientist. You need tons of brain power on this thing. And you need to build thousands and thousands and thousands, and you have to keep building these models to keep up with what's going on. But it can be done. And in that neural network is all the different scenarios, all the different mathematical models. You click on a button, up it comes, and away you go. On the right there, you can see the box itself, right? Tells you what the average is for 50 projects, 100 projects, whatever we've asked to compare to. The yellow dots, if they're on the left, mean it's good. If they're on the right, means it's bad. And we keep track of this on a monthly basis as part of our new governance process. The thing that's interesting, which I learned with the engineers, is they'll fight you on everything except for data. So what we've done is taken the emotional discussions out of the game here and said, hey, it's just the data. If you got a good reason why your project's so screwed up compared to the other 100, you just let us know. We'd like to talk about that. Which has helped us control the average age of 58 and so on and so forth, right? Because they know that if the data's factual, if it's been scrubbed, you know, why don't we spend our time and our energy on discussions about fixes with our customer? Because a lot of this stuff is caused by a bunch of engineers and our customer who also want to put their mark on every single project. We now are in the process of building control systems for the projects. So as the data is loaded on an hourly basis or a daily basis, depending on what it is, different colors come up. That is the lifeblood of a normal project, what you see up there, squares, circles, so on and so forth. And what that does is kind of tell us, so we can keep an eye on it automatically, who's up, who's down, which engineering hours are being blown. So the interesting thing is, on the projects that go bad, engineering blames procurement. Then procurement turns around and they blame construction. And you know what? They got away with this for almost 100 years. So once we put Watson and ePhD together, what we found out is the average project, engineering was overrunning their hours by 38 hours, or 38%. Now, let me tell you, if you're procurement, who've got to put out to go buy steel or go buy pipe or whatever, and engineering can't get you the drawings, there's a reason then why you're late on delivery to the project. Now, you can just imagine that if construction's sitting there waiting for all this, how could you blame construction, right? So again, I go back to, and Avasant points this out, we've had lots of discussions. It's not just about the data, it's the quality and how you use that data and the decisions you make around that data. And the easier it gets, it's amazing what can happen. So we've been talking about expanding our partnership. One thing I will tell you is, so we have a very, we're building one of the largest oil refineries over in Kuwait. It's a multi-billion-dollar project. It's a lump sum project, so we have reimbursable. It's easier for us to make money on it. Lump sum, we have to commit to a price, commit to a schedule. high risk, and we have problems with that. Everybody in our industry has problems with that. You know, it's kind of like you can get paid, but how much of the money can you keep, right, after you start measuring up schedules. On this project in Kuwait, by using this next tool called MDSA, we were able to save that project $420 million. Just in the way we spent the money, where we spent it, and our buying capability. This capability has only been in existence for the last 18 months. So instead of having a lump sum project that we probably would have lost money on, we have a lump sum project we're making money on. And one of the reasons is supply chain. The other thing we can do is we are loading in logistics. So you can imagine getting things wherever we got to get them. So I have ships, and I have railroads, and we have tractor trailers, and we have airplanes, and we move stuff all over the place. So now we're going to use this, and we're breaking this down to be able to do it with logistics. Okay? So the whole goal here is to have our entire pipeline, our entire capability with predictive analytics to make more money. Now you would think in these wonderful projects that you saw in the video, I could ask you, but I don't want to put you on the spot. How much money you really think we make on a project like that? So let's take the bridge. 2%. That's correct. 2%. You imagine that? I wake up at night like, what did I do leaving the technology world to come to this world, right, for 2%? What we're hoping to be able to do with all of this is up our margins, up our percentage, minimize the risk. And we're seeing great results with it, really great results with this. So, what are some of the keys? One, we partnered with the right people. 2, deliver value right out of the barrel. Deliver value. Deal with the culture problems. Okay? Deal with it. Remember, data is the new currency. Treat it like money. If you treat data like money, you can't lose. People understand money. They don't understand bits and bytes. But if you can treat it like money and tell them this is what it's worth, they pay a lot closer attention, and you can move a lot faster. And those that don't, you probably don't need them anyway, right? Keep innovating, right? This was a first of a kind in EPC. The new market dynamic analysis capabilities, first of its kind in EPC for supply chain. People like BASF and some of these big companies are now hiring us to do this for them. Okay? A lot of intellectual property here. We were willing to share some of that intellectual property with IBM, and so we had a win-win deal. So the next time you drive across a big bridge, or you're on a high-speed rail, or you're over in Europe and you're in some boat where the bridge has to lift up, or I know it's not a big thing in California, but if you got to go to, find out where oil and gas really come from, or we're very environmental friendly too. We do almost all the world's wind farms and solar plants. But that's where we're going. That's how we're trying to change. That's how we're changing our vision. That's how we're trying to help change the world. And it's been a pleasure. Thank you.